Good afternoon. Hey there, everyone. I am April Verrett, president of our amazing union, SEIU Local 2015, our country's largest long-term care workers union, representing over 400,000 long-term care workers across the state of California. I am pleased to be joined by fellow leaders in our union, our incredible Executive Vice President, Kimmy Vaughn, and you'll hear from her a little bit later, our amazing First Vice President for Nursing Homes, Christina Lockyer Way. And in addition to Kim and Christina, there are also several really phenomenal nursing home workers and union members who are going to join us to share their stories. We have a special guest today as well, our champion, Senator Henry Stern from the 27th District here in Los Angeles. We all know that Senator Stern has been dedicated. He's been a real partner and champion in advocating with us to lift up the issues for long-term care workers. And he is a leader in our state and working hard along with us to make sure nursing homes are transparent and held accountable. Today in this Facebook Live, we're going to draw attention to the critical nursing home staffing crisis that is plaguing facilities across the state. At the time that we need staff the most, this global public health crisis that we know as COVID-19 has made the crisis even worse, right? I don't have to tell nursing home workers or people who live in nursing homes or their family members that there was a staffing crisis before 2020, and it is only worse now. The reality is that we are living in a vicious cycle. The staffing crisis increases the number of nursing home workers that are just fed up. They can't take it anymore, and they're leaving the industry. And it's making it harder and harder to staff facilities at the level that we need them to be staffed. Last month, our union conducted a poll of our members and CNAs across the state. And the poll indicated that low wages and staffing shortages are the top concerns amongst nursing home workers. Only a third of nursing home workers report that they are satisfied in their jobs, right? That's crazy. And half of the nursing home workers we heard from said that they are likely to leave their current position within the next year, right? That's in addition to the 420,000 nursing home workers that have left the industry since the start of the pandemic across the country. To say we are in a crisis is an understatement, you all. Those who indicate the likelihood that they are going to leave, right, they all point to the same things: poor wages and the working conditions that they just can no longer tolerate, staffing being chief amongst them. But we didn't just start talking about this crisis. You all have been speaking up and showing out, and you've gotten the attention at the highest levels of our government. Your voices have been heard all the way in Washington, D.C. We heard our president, Joe Biden, during his State of the Union address earlier this month, talk about nursing homes. He included in his State of the Union address the message that included a national platform for your issues. I'm so extremely proud of you all, and I hope that you are proud of yourselves. The president has proposed reforms that will ensure nursing home owners, that the workers are able to hold owners accountable. And you all they're no longer going to be able to get away with padding their bottom line at the expense of residents and workers. And we're going to work as hard as we can to make sure the proposals that the president has put forward go into effect. We, as our members of 2015, look forward to a future in which all of us are always, hands down, no doubt about it, respected, protected, and paid. That respect, protection, and pay is in line with the vital nature and the essential work that you all do each and every day. President Biden has heard us. Dare I say, Senator Stern and others in the California legislature has heard us. And we're not going to stop until everybody in Sacramento and in DC and state capitals all across this country hear us. We're not going to just wait for them to act in Washington. The reality is that we've already been doing the work. We started last year and we passed our transparency bills aimed at stopping facility operators from using nursing homes as their private ATM machines. And we're ensuring that the voices of nursing home workers are heard through worker standards boards. And we're going to hear much more about this proposal in the coming weeks. We must take a stand and demand justice, not just for nursing home workers, but for each and every resident in nursing homes and their family members across this state. You've been using your voice, and we're going to continue to use our voice until we win. Our fight to make our voices heard just begins today. It continues tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that until we win justice. Over the next few weeks, we're going to host a series of events and actions meant to elevate the voices of nursing home workers and ensure that the vital work you all do every day is recognized. We are going to disrupt this industry. We are going to turn it on its head. We are going to do what we do. We will show up and we will show out. We will win better pay, better benefits, and real opportunities for career advancement, real training so that we can make sure we go to work every day knowing that we can take care of our residents and that we are being able to invest in the future generation of nursing home workers. March 28th, write it down, March 28th, SEIU 2015 members will participate in a statewide day of action, just like you all did on Valentine's Day. This is another opportunity to make your voices heard at nursing home locations up and down the state. We are going to raise our voices and collectively fight for our issues. You'll hear much more information on the statewide day of action as we move forward and how you can participate at your facility. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass the mic to Kim Iman. Kim?
Thanks, April. I mean, all I can say is amen, amen, amen. And today, what we really want to do is lift up the voices of the very people who every day have experienced what it means to work in an industry that's been in crisis before COVID, right? And then have experienced what it's like to stick in and to really be committed against a lot of odds that, normal folks would not want to face on a day-to-day basis. And, we know there's some common sense things that we can do to change, right? To respect these workers, as you say, protect them, pay them, and, and stop this incessant, cycle of being undervalued, underpaid, underrespected. And what better way for us to sort of think about what those common sense things are than to hear from folks who do this work every day, and essential workers, our members and nursing home workers. So I'm not going to, talk anymore. I want to bring on one of those very essential workers and invaluable members of our nursing home community, our sister Charisma. Charisma, thank you for joining us, and please, share with us a little bit about what got you involved in doing this work and what are some of the things you're experiencing that we need to change.
Okay, so I'll just start by giving just a brief overview of how it all started, when I was a little kid. So, as a child, I just remember having this affinity towards helping people, whether it was just simply helping someone to smile, laugh, when they were feeling down, helping friends solve problems, to just being moved to helping people with bigger issues, like people that are really sick, with, just unbearable and unspeakable illnesses, and, just basically to their inability to walk as well, So flash forward, I decided to obtain my doctorate in physical therapy. But yay, I graduated with my doctorate. However, life, has a way of knocking you down, and detouring you. So, I started working in the skilled nursing facilities, prior to attending grad school for prerequisite requirements. And, I really enjoyed working with the geriatric population, so much so that after graduating, I decided to just stay in that field, working, just basically until I could, pass my board exams. However, speaking about now, I've been working in the nursing homes for quite a while now. I still have yet to obtain my license. I'm still a work in progress, but I've just grown just increasingly tired of working in the skilled nursing facilities, especially the one that I'm in now. Because like you guys were speaking on earlier, the lack of proper benefits, the low pay rate, the shortage of nursing staff, you name it. It trickles all the way down to CNAs, to the DONs, to the MDS. Like, there is just a shortage of positions just all across the board. And I've also seen the quality of patient care rapidly deteriorating as well. Like, I've seen an increase in patient falls, patients leaving against medical advice, patients walking out of the front or the back door because there's not enough nursing staff in the facility to watch the patient, so they can just easily sneak by. Patients calling 911 because they're dissatisfied with the quality of care that they're getting, or simply because the nursing staff, they're taking too long to answer the call lights to see what their needs are. I've also seen a deterioration in employee morale as well. Basically CNAs quitting, due to low staffing, low wages, and even favoritism. Um, it's sad that this has to happen, and hopefully, with this union, and us becoming unionized, in the 21 facilities that aren't union members yet, maybe we can bring forth a change, because a change has to happen. This has to get better.
Great.
Right.
Thanks, Charisma. And, look, sister, I, want to, on behalf of all of us in this union family, really lift up and appreciate your leadership. Because
Thank you.
using your voice in this way to advocate for change for others is exactly what leadership is all about. And it's exactly what we need. So I want you to think about the next Charisma that you know of, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to need all of us to make that change. But the story you
Mhm.
just told just tells us, it magnifies the urgency about why we got to do something now.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow, but now.
Yeah.
So
Because
thank you,
there
sister.
are days where I don't feel like going to work at all, but now that I'm a part of this union, I feel like I have to keep pushing forward, and until what we started comes into completion. We have to, keep moving forward.
Well, we're going to be
Yeah.
right by your side moving forward, Charisma. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
And now I'm going to hear from another powerful woman leader, our our first vice president, Christina Lockyer White, who is championing the work that we do for justice around our nursing home workers. And so, Christina, the floor is yours to sort of share with us again why it's so important that we are advancing this critical change.
Well, I've been a nursing home worker for 17 years in Bakersfield. I'm a CNA. And in the beginning of the pandemic, my building fell pretty hard with COVID. We had about 100 residents, and then we had most of our staff within days after the residents catching it. We started having employees fall, staff members fall, to the point where there was no staff. They were all ill, and we had to call the strike team out to come and manage our building with help. After that, things didn't get better with staffing. We lost maybe 30% of our staff. And to this day, we still don't have the numbers where we were. Before the pandemic, we had 8 or 9 patients. Today, I have more residents than I have fingers. It's you go into work now and you're just hoping that people show up to work. You're hoping that they come sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes they don't show up, and then, it becomes, when people don't show up, then, it affects everybody. And so staffing is an issue. You see, our nursing home work is not minimum wage paying job. It's we deserve more. It's not a minimum wage paying job. Recently, when I went to work, I went to work like I normally do. On that day, I come to find out that my building was being shut down. So I know firsthand what it's like when they put profits over employees and they put profits over resident care. I know what that's like, and we need to change that. Talking with members of SEIU 2015 up and down the state, I hear the same story over and over and over again. And I could sum it up in 3 words for you. It's overworked, underpaid, and unappreciated. And we need to change those. And we're going to come together using our collective strength, and we're going to pull together. Now I'd like to introduce Robert Orena, one of our strongest leaders in the movement. Robert began working at Stony Point more than 4 years ago. He caught COVID on the job in 2020 and had to be hospitalized because the infection was so severe. After weeks of recovery, he returned to work at his facility and became a union steward to try to improve working conditions at Stony Point. Since then, he played a central part in successfully pushing back against poor management. Robert is currently on the bargaining team and is helping to negotiate a strong contract. Conditions and resident care. He is also one of our newest SEIU 2015 executive board member. I proudly introduce Robert.
Thank you, Christina. My name is Robert Oronia. I am from Stony Point, up here in Chatsworth, California, in Los Angeles, Region 1. Like everybody else, and we all hear the same thing, low wages, we are not treated correctly, we're disrespected. But, one of the important things that I want to touch is on the low wages means no staffing. We have such a high turnover rate in my facility that I assisted in orientating a new CNA on the floor. 3 days later, that person was gone. Well, where'd she go? And it's like what everybody says. These corporations are taking advantage of a situation, and yet they're not paying their help. They're not paying the nurses, the CNAs, the janitors, the cooks. We are one team. As mentioned, back in 2020, I had caught COVID. It was a really bad infection. I was in the hospital for about 2 to 3 weeks, spent time in the ICU. And yet, after about 2 months of recovery, I still came back to my facility to do a job that I, and like every other caregiver in this industry, a job that we love doing. Mm-hmm. You have to have a passion for this job. But what happens when you're disrespected, you're not cared for properly, you lose that passion. You lose the want. You get overwhelmed. When I became a CNA, I did not agree on having to deal with workplace violence. I've been off of work for 3 weeks because 3 weeks ago, I was attacked by one of my own patients. Unprovokingly, stepped out of his room, grabbed an aluminum stool, and went to swing it at my head. Good thing I was able to deflect it, but now I have problems with movement in my hands and my wrists. We as a group need to stand up. We use one voice and push back to these corporations. We're in the middle of our bargaining right now. Everything we've asked for, they've said no. No, no, no. We need to stand together, stand strong, and use one voice and say, enough is enough. We've had it. We deserve the respect. We deserve to be paid properly. I have coworkers that work 3 jobs, and that's not fair to them. It's not fair to the family. But most importantly, what everybody seems to forget about, our residents and the safety that needs to be done. They need safety. They need to be provided a safe environment. When you don't have the staff, the numbers go down in safety. People get hurt. They get injured. They fall out of bed because there's no one there to check up on them.
Mhm.
And the very first person who's blamed is you, the caregiver. Where were you? If you fill out an incident report, the very first thing on that incident report is, what could you have done to make that not happen? It's time that we stand together as the mighty Fighting 2015, use one voice and say, enough is enough. We need better wages. We need workplace safety. And we need to be treated with respect to do a job that not a lot of people are able to do. These are our family members. These are our grandparents. These are our aunts and uncles. That's how I see my residents, my patients. Those are my family members. And I just wish that these companies would understand that. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We need to stand strong. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Christina. I think both of you lifted up some key things, right? It's like when corporate greed is involved, when profit is put before patients, you've just described a whole lot of what the result of that is. And brother, we ain't taking no for an answer. We are on the right. We have moral high ground in this situation. There is no reason to deny anybody who is staying and committing themselves to the care and the safety of our most vulnerable. There's no reason why they aren't getting what they need to be safe, to be healthy, to live their lives, to take care of their families. So yeah, enough is enough. We're not taking no for an answer. And the other thing I want to sort of lift up too is the sense of, in April, our president often says this, and it really sticks with me. She says, we caregivers every day pour everything of themselves, their love, their compassion, their soul, everything into other people. They invest that energy and that goodness into the well-being of others. It is damn time this industry invests in you. That is how you are able to do that. That is what people need. That is what our elderly need, and people who need 24-hour care. They need your love. They need your care. And it's on the industry to deliver that. And we are going to make sure we ain't going to stop, brother, until that changes. So hell no to no. It's what I'm going to say. So I want to thank you and Christina for lifting that up and putting the real clear markers about what we need to do and why we need to do it. And now I'm going to sort of give the floor over to one of our champions, our brother, Senator Henry Stern, to talk about what this means to him, what change means to him in terms of this industry. So, Senator Stern.
Change is personal, Kim. Change is very personal for me. I'm a little worn down, so I'm gonna be brief in my comments, but I just want to tell you that watching the work that 2015 and the people doing the toughest jobs there are through this pandemic, I've seen all this firsthand. This is my family. My wife's a unique story, first generation American, but her parents came from Hungary. So they survived the Holocaust, actually, and came over and got started a little later in life, and had her later on in their lives a kind of a magic, California story. But when you're a working class plumber and you're on Medi-Cal, there's not a lot of good options in LA to get through the end of your life with any kind of dignity. So we've seen, firsthand through this pandemic, just standing outside the walls of a big building on Tampa for a year and a half with her mom, you know, frozen with Parkinson's on the inside of a building. And every day you show up because you can't even go in to see her. And the only people in there that we have to count on are you. It's the people giving care. And so when we held up that sign for like 6 months and we said, we love you, it was like, it wasn't just to Margaret. It was to Maria, and it was to Susan, and it was to Trevor, and it was to the crew in there. And I'll just tell you, watching those shortages play out has been kind of tragic in my own family. My father-in-law, you know, those falls that that Christina was talking about, and that, you know, we've had those falls at night. We've had it where you're pushing the button, calling for somebody because your diaper's full and you're stuck, and it's like 3 or 4 hours just waiting. You get an infection, you end up in the emergency room. I mean, these are real things that played out before my eyes. And here I am, I'm a senator, right? You think, oh, just fix it, be done. But the fact is, this is a powerful industry with a lot of money and a lot of influence. And Terry was in the chat in Facebook talking about personal ATM and all the money sloshing around. Those are Medi-Cal dollars for the most vulnerable Californians. 9 billion of those dollars was sloshing around related companies where your brother owns one company and the sister owns another, and you're paying one who's the real estate broker. There's something funny going on out there. And I will tell you, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to audit the industry thanks to your advocacy, and we're going to look at their books. But more than that, we're going to organize. And by holding out quality and holding out a standard that California should be proud of, I don't see how they say no to us. We're going to bang down the door. Like, they cannot say no. And we cannot let this moment pass without some justice. Because I've seen too much. And this is just on my little watch and trying to fill the holes. You know, it ends with it whole breaking down. We had to leave. Like, now it's over. We had loss in my family from this. And I know you all have been through those losses. I just want to tell you, I know you've lost your patients. I know you've lost the people you've cared for and you loved. And we're not going to leave you hanging. So you got my heart, but all my labor too. We're going to get this done. So Kim, thank you for giving me a little venue here. And Miss Verrett, woo, you know, just get out the way, people. Let's go, April. Let's go. I'm ready.
Let's go, Henry. Let's go. Right? Let's go, Henry, and let's go, Charisma, and let's go, Christina, and let's go, Robert, and let's go.
Amen.
For 400,000 members of Local 2015. We are going to put our shoulder to this issue, to these issues, and we are not going to stop pushing, because there are way too many people, hundreds of thousands of workers and people who need care who are depending on us, not just in California, but across this country, right? Because we know California leads. And so thank you, Senator, for standing with us, for pushing with us. And we're not going to let them tell us no, right? And I know your family story and your pain, and we will not let it be in vain, right? Nor will we let all of the tragedies be in vain. We've lost too many people. We are planting the flag in the stand, and we are taking a stand, and we are not going back. So thank you. And I will see you real soon. Get some rest.
Yeah, be better.
Baby, kiss that beautiful
Yeah, I'm
baby.
gonna get better. I'll be all right.
All right.
Bless you.
Bye.
God bless you.
Bye. You know, they don't make them all like Senator Stern and President Biden, but we know in them we have champions, and there are so many others that are going to continue to work with us to make sure we will win. And there will not be a nursing home worker in this state when we are done that makes less than $20 an hour, right? We are declaring it, we are claiming it. $20 will be the bare minimum. We will all make more than $20 an hour, because we're going to establish that wage floor. We're going to make sure every single nursing home worker in this state can count on appropriate staffing levels, can count on benefits so that their families can thrive, like paid sick leave and fully funded health care and retirement security. We are going to make sure we create good, family sustaining, middle class jobs for all nursing home workers. We're going to continue to shine a spotlight on this staffing crisis and the reality of what workers and residents in these facilities face every day in our state. And we're going to do it on behalf of each and every one of you. As I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a statewide day of action to raise up our voices and lift up these issues on March 28th. We're going to join together in a statewide day of action that will raise our voices and bring attention to the urgent issues we're facing in the nursing home industry. So mark your calendars. I keep saying it for a reason. March 28th, March 28th, March 28th. We're going to launch our Worker Standards Board proposal with Senator Stern's help, as well as Assembly Member Miguel Santiago. That Worker Standards Board will provide legislative oversight and help us pave the way toward major union victories for nursing home workers in California. There will be actions here in Los Angeles, San Diego, Fresno, Sacramento, the Bay Area, and beyond. Be sure to contact your organizer, your steward, or call the Member Action Center to find out what's happening at your facility. This is time for the leaders in these facilities to lead. Thank you all very much for tuning in today. You can learn more about our nursing home work and all of the other work we do at 2015 at www.seiu2015.org. We encourage each and every one of you to connect with us. I'm here on social media, online, hit us up. And in all things, in all ways, let's go get it 2015.